everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Jade Empire. Last episode we finally made our way to and spoke with Jade Fox, and learned about what we're trying to do here. Apparently, Death's Hand is building up an army of golems in a factory hidden somewhere. We need to make our way into the Lotus Assassin Fortress so that we can find proof that he's doing this and bring it to her father, the Emperor, so that, well, the Emperor can do something and get out from under Death's Hand's thumb. To do that, we have two options. Either A, go to the arena and fight and impress the Executioner, or B, go and speak with the Inquisitor and do things slyly. We'll probably do both. For now, let's move on into the Scholar's Garden here and do some exploration, why not, hey? And we found configuration of the snake. It's another configuration that we actually could use. You found this academic leaflet and kept it. The crux of the argument reads, to think that any machine could be designed around the principles of starting motion with a tiger of all things is to dally with utter madness. As if this were not enough, no machine made by the hands of man can be fueled by iron infused with nickel. The resulting metal, while strong, is inert to reactions. Even applications of electrical current and the introduction of chimney smoke into a mechanical cauldron as proposed produced no appreciable result. Well, I think we can do that. I think we can make that one. Scholar Dongao. Hey, this is the one we're supposed to talk to.
Welcome, friend. The lecture won't be starting for a little while, though your enthusiasm is appreciated. I wouldn't worry about seating. Those interfering philosophers had made sure that very few people will be attending the lecture.
Can you tell me where to find the Inquisitor, Recruiter?
What? Huh, that's quite a question. I'm not sure who told you, but I'd appreciate it if you would keep your voice down when asking those kinds of questions. Nobody here suspects me to be anything but an overzealous scholar, and I'd like to keep it that way. So you want to know about the Recruiter?
Sure.
You have a flying machine, do you not? Yes, I know about that. Go back to the landing area and someone will meet you there.
Is that it? Why should we meet there?
The location is public, yet relatively private. Common folk are not welcome on the landing area, so there will be no crowds to hide spies, or an ambush.
How do I know this isn't a trap?
If the Lotus Assassins wanted you dead, your life would be over before you even knew you were in danger.
And yet they've failed several times. Alright, I'd like to ask you some questions.
I don't think so. I've already told you what you need to know. I'm not about to risk being discovered just to make you feel at ease.
Your course is set. The Inquisitor will be waiting at your camp. Appease him, and you'll be on the road to appeasing me.
I could... Okay, I can still do the Executioner thing. Anyway, we'll get to that later. For now, let's continue exploring here. Oh look! A jar to break. Good use of this.
Focusing one's thoughts requires balance. Living without balance weakens the mind.
Perhaps. The physical universe, the Scholar's hypothesis. To suggest that I, of all people, do not understand the significance or the importance of the celestial beings is preposterous. I pay my tributes at the temple because I honor those who gave us our minds and our curiosity. Philosopher Jiang ignores the crux of the problem by hiding behind his arguments of divine belief. The scholars have made some recent discoveries, such as the way in which clouds are formed, but the philosophers, led by Jiang, dismiss these theories without even hearing them out. How can we progress as a society if we refuse to accept new ideas and new concepts? The philosophers would have us cling to our traditions, even at the cost of our own prosperity. Okay, I can see that. Alright, I think we have 3 routes here. It's just... oh, couple books. And I believe I see the person we're supposed to do something about over there. The Long Drought. The Long Drought stands as one of the worst periods in the Jade Empire's recent history. 10 years of scorching heat and little rainfall took their toll on even the prodigious reserves of the Empire's granaries. The sages predicted at least 3 more devastatingly dry years, while those in the Ministry of Harmony watched the death toll mount into the hundreds of thousands. Then Emperor Sunhai declared that the drought was over, and somehow it was. Through the Emperor's divine will, green returned to our parched land, and stability was restored. The physical universe, a final word. The world that we live in is not as simplistic as philosopher Zhang would suggest in his treatise on the physical universe. His hypotheses regarding divine regulation of weather and seasons, though interesting, is nothing more than children's tales made overly complicated. Recent research, led by scholar Donggao, has proven that our seasons and weather are much more than the careless whims of distant celestial beings. Our universe is made up of very real, very tangible components that can be carefully quantified and qualified. I mean, it's not wrong. Let's see. Another scroll stand. The Philosopher's Viewpoint. Though scholar Xiao Xiang has raised several interesting points in his rebuttal to my treatise on the physical world, his lack of respect for the divine is of greater concern than his lack of understanding of the physical world around him. I agree that there are many aspects to our world that cannot be explained by divine influence alone. We learn and continue to thrive at the mercy of the celestial beings. Without their guidance, and indeed their blessing, we would quickly discover that research and understanding of our physical world alone are not nearly enough for us to survive. It seems like these are basically arguments on both sides between the gods will it and the laws of physics. It's interesting. Scholar Zhenyu.
Hello there, traveler. Forgive my forwardness, but I noticed your arrival earlier while I was at the tavern. That flying machine of yours is truly a marvel. I actually have a design for a new prototype flyer, and I hope to get funding to build it one day. The other scholars aren't interested in my inventions, though.
Could I ask you a few questions?
Me? You want to ask me something? Well, sure, I'd be glad to help you if I can. What would you like to know?
Who are you? What is it you do here?
Oh, I'm Scholar Zhenyu. I'm one of the newer scholar elites. I was actually born in the poor quarter, but my uncle brought me here when I was only 10. He knew I would never have a chance at a real life unless I had some proper schooling. I've lived here with him ever since.
Tell me about the Imperial City.
That's right, you're new here, aren't you? Well, where should I begin? There's so much to tell you. There are several important areas here in the city. Of course, there are also many different services, too. I'm not sure what to tell you first.
Just tell me about the important places.
Sure. Well, let's see. This place is the Scholar's Garden. For the most part, only stuffy old philosophers and scholars reside here. Farther down toward the city, you'll find the Golden Way. Many wealthy people live and work there. Hopefully some willing to fund one of my inventions. Then there's the Market District, near where you landed earlier. Most of the city does its business there. It's an interesting place. At least, I think so. You'll also find the path to the Black Leopard School there, across the river from the arena. I haven't been there, but I hear it's an interesting place to visit.
Oh, most certainly, I'm sure. Tell me about the city services.
One of the best places in the city is the arena. Just don't tell my masters I said so. If you go to the arena, you'll also see the heart of the Empire Tavern. And of course, there are several shops and merchants with all manner of supplies available. All of that can be found in the Market District.
Alright, back to my... tell me more about the tavern.
I'm not supposed to go there. At least not when I'm studying, but it's hard to resist. It's known as the best tavern in all the Empire. I actually do some of my best thinking while I'm there. I like to sit in the upper rooms with a bit of wine and just look out over the city, or the arena.
I don't see a huge problem with that. Let's see, other questions. Back to my first questions. What can you tell me about Death's Hand?
Now there's a question you don't hear very often. Not too many people like to talk about him. In fact, if I were you, I'd be careful who I ask.
I can ask everyone I wish, I think.
I'm not one to believe in superstitious nonsense, but I still wouldn't want to draw his attention. He's very powerful and very dangerous. Some people even suggest that he has gained some control over our honorable emperor. I find it hard to believe, but I suppose it's possible.
Have you heard any interesting rumors lately?
A city like this always has rumors. Some people say the ghosts are angry and attacking innocent people. Another rumor suggests the emperor is dying. But I wouldn't believe any of that. Just because the Emperor hasn't been seen in a while doesn't mean he's ill. Perhaps he just wants some solitude.
What else can you tell me about the Emperor?
The Emperor is a wise and powerful man. How else could he have solved the drought so many years ago? I wasn't born then, but I've heard the stories. It's true that he hasn't been seen much recently, but I don't think it's anything to worry about. It's not like the Empire is falling apart in his absence.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
Maybe he's
exactly.
just taking a rest from all the hard work he's done. Nobody deserves a rest more than the Emperor.
Oh, then again, there is the whole ghost thing. You mentioned something about ghosts before.
I think they are just rumors. I haven't seen any ghosts at all, angry or otherwise. If the ghosts are angry about something, why aren't they here right now? Come to think of it, I don't know any one person who's ever seen a ghost. I prefer to spend my time and energy on things that are real. Designing a new prototype flying machine, now that's important.
Okay, back to the first questions. No, I must be going. Good fortune to you.
All right then, goodbye.
Let's see. Philosopher Shendao.
Yes? Come closer. I cannot see who you are. Is that you again, Zenji? No, it is not. I can tell by your breath. Please, come no closer. What is it you want with old Shendao, then? I want to get back to my meditations before I pass away from old age.
May I ask you a few questions?
All day long I'm besieged with questions. Master, what is the seventh dictate? Master, how do we achieve inner peace? Master, when is dinner? It's a wonder that I get any peace at all. Well, go on, but be quick about it.
Jeez, I'm not going to intimidate him like that. What is it you do here?
If you don't already know, I doubt I can explain it to you. The ways of the philosophers cannot be described in such a short time. I am the eldest philosopher here, and so I seem to have no end of people chasing me about and asking inane questions.
Tell me about Death's Hand.
I see your senses have truly left you. You don't have to be a master to know that questions like that can get you into trouble. If you want to know something about that, Fiend, I suggest you ask him yourself, though I doubt you'll have the temerity to do so.
What do you know about the Emperor?
Which Emperor? There have been many, you know. You must make your questions more clear if you want a clear answer, I will assume that you meant Emperor Sanhai. I can tell you that I know a great deal, most of which you have no need to know. Suffice it to say that the Emperor is a great man who has lived through many hard trials. He is far more powerful than any Emperor I have known in all my days. The real question is where he gets his power, but I go too far. It is unwise to speak about such things, especially to people like you.
I'm searching for Master Li from Two Rivers.
That is not a question. How can this Lee call himself your master when your skills are so obviously undeveloped? You have not even told me what this Lee is a master of. Is he a master of knitting or martial arts? How can I give you an answer based on such flimsy questions? Perhaps your master was so frustrated by your ineptitude that he decided to quit and leave his home in Two Rivers. I certainly wouldn't blame him.
Alright, I should be going. Goodbye.
Good, you go now. May heaven guide you someplace else.
Alright. Moving on. Philosopher Xiao.
Greetings, and welcome to the Scholar's Garden. I am Philosopher Xiao, one of the many masters you will see here during your visit. I see by your accoutrements that you are not from the Imperial City. I hope your visit here is one of fulfillment and success. As sagacious Tien once said, more valuable than silk are new friends in a foreign land. If you need anything, I will be glad to assist you.
You are too kind. Thank you.
As sagacious Tien once said, kind words and respectable attire are seldom a sign of true character. Only deeds reveal the intent of the soul. I am glad to help you in any way I can.
Thank you. May I ask you some questions?
I am honored that you would ask me, though I must warn you, the teachings take a lifetime to learn and cannot be taught in a day. Perhaps I could explain the core principles of Tien's teachings. I could recite the history of Tien if you like.
I suppose learning about Tien could be interesting. Explain the core principles of Tien's teachings.
The teachings of Sagacious Tien are very simple, but the implications are astoundingly complex. At the heart of the teachings are the concepts of harmony and discord. Also referred to as the way of the open palm and the way of the fist, one cannot exist without the other, but neither can they coexist in one person. Harmony with the world comes from understanding your place in the world. An ant that believes it is a tiger will never achieve harmony. In other words, accepting your place in the world and using your skills accordingly is the optimal way of following the path of harmony.
Go on.
Discord is the other side of the coin. People who choose the path of discord seek their own advancement over everything else. These people will ignore the world and use whatever means necessary to raise themselves above their station. Sagacious Tien taught both harmony and discord to his students, for one cannot be fully known without the other. However, he himself followed the way of harmony.
Tell me the history of Sagacious Tien.
Sagacious Tien was the first emperor of the Jade Empire. He was a philosopher and a leader without compare, unifying the warring factions of his time. His teachings founded this great empire, though there was very little written about Tien himself. We do know that he brought peace to the people of the empire, and since that time, his teachings have guided hundreds of generations of followers.
Alright, actually I'd like to ask you something different.
Of course. What would you like to know?
Thank you for the information. What can you tell me about the Scholar's Garden?
The Scholar's Garden is the seat of learning in the Jade Empire. The philosophers and scholars who live here dedicate their lives to the pursuit of wisdom.
Tell me about the scholars.
The scholars are dedicated to unlocking the secrets of the physical world. Many still follow the teachings of Sagacious Tien, though some take their studies too far. I am certainly not opposed to their ways of study. Indeed, the scholars have made many wonderful and important discoveries.
But, okay then, tell me about the philosophers.
We philosophers dedicate our lives to the study and teaching of the ways of Sagacious Tien. We believe in peace and harmony and balance. Many find it difficult to grasp the significance or usefulness of our studies, but we assist anyone willing to learn the ancient teachings.
Alright, back to my first questions. What can you tell me about the Imperial City?
I am afraid I would not be the best person to ask, but there are others to whom I could direct you.
Who else could I ask about this? Actually, you live here. Why aren't you familiar with the city?
A good question. I am sometimes saddened by the fact that I cannot participate more in the life that surrounds me. However, I forego these simple pleasures to remain focused on the learning and application of the teachings of Sagacious Tien. Don't misunderstand me. I am content with the choices I've made, but doubts cannot be completely resolved, and the city is a constant reminder of my decision.
Alright, actually I should be going.
As you wish. With luck, the winds of heaven will bring us together again one day. Farewell.
Thank you very much. Now, before we go into there, let's take a look around this third route that we have. Scholar Kong Yu.
I hope you're not here to pester me. I'm a very busy, important, and educated man, you know.
Huh. What sort of studies keep you so busy?
All manner of studies. The history of dramatic systems, applied theology, and, celestial integration. All of these are vital pursuits of knowledge. Not that you would understand such lofty matters.
Hey, yeah, you can try. Why don't you tell me more about the history of dramatic systems?
Well, you see, drama can be broken down into several systems, and I study the history of those systems over time, how they've changed, and that sort of thing.
Can you outline some of these systems for me?
Well, there's the new system, of course, but everyone knows that. Then we have the, old system, which, as you may surmise, is no longer in use. That's a brief summary of my latest work, at any rate.
Aha. And how have these systems changed?
Oh, it's all very complex, and I really don't feel like describing it to you at any length. That's how you know I'm a scholar, you see. An unwillingness to share all the information I have.
You're literally describing who you are. That's enough about the history of dramatic systems.
Too large a subject for your mind to comprehend, I'm sure.
What exactly is applied theology?
Well, it's the application of the study of theological things, isn't it? For instance, knowing about spirits and then finding a use for that knowledge.
Could you give me an example?
Well, no, not really. This is the study of applied theology, not the application of studied theology. That's something else entirely.
Hold on. Celestial integration. You made that one up.
Celestial integration means just that. It's integrated, celestially. Thus, the relationship between the heavens and earth is one of integration and, celestial. It's a very advanced field of research. It would take several lifetimes to understand it properly, which is why my position as a scholar is so irrefutable.
Do you have any works I would have read?
Oh, I doubt it. You don't look the type for heavy reading.
Gee, thanks.
No, but I am, and I certainly haven't heard of you.
Of course, none of my books are published yet, but as a scholar and a respected one, I will most certainly pen some marvelous books someday.
Wouldn't you have to have written several books to be a respected scholar?
Well, yes. Unless your theories are astoundingly brilliant, which is the case with me.
Okay, I'm done stringing you along. You're Creative Yukong, aren't you?
Of course not. I'm... Ah, drat. This isn't working at all. How did you know?
Your studies weren't very convincing.
You're here to hunt me down, then. Lord Rento has it in for me, and I figured it would come to this. I don't suppose running would do me any good.
How did someone of your skill manage to con a noble anyway?
I was unjustly accused. I simply petitioned Lady Rento for some silver to support me as an actor. Patronage, it's called. She agreed, but her husband flew into a rage when he found out, and now I have a death sentence on my head. It's not fair, and if you were a decent person, you'd help me get out of this city instead of taking me in. It's the only way I'll get clear of Lord Rento's wrath.
Do you have any proof that you're falsely accused?
You need more proof than my pathetic attempt to pose as a scholar? How about the fact that Lord Rento was out of town when I bilked him? Not that anyone but Lady Rento will confirm that for you. Still, it should be apparent that I'm not some great confidence man.
Yeah, pretty clear, actually. I think I'll help you instead of collecting your bounty.
We should go see Captain Sen right away if you're sure. Is now a fair time to go down to the gate to get me out of here?
Sure, I'm ready to help you now.
The only easy way out of this city is through the gate that Sen is guarding, and he's looking for me. However, if I disguise myself as a mercenary and sneak past him, I might just get away, but you have to help me by distracting him. Just tell him that I've already escaped, and I'll get away just fine. I can't imagine what might go wrong.
You had to say it.
Citizen, I hear there is progress in the search for Creative Yukong. A scholar ran out of the Scholar's Garden after talking to you. Tell me you have good news.
I'm afraid Creative Yukong has left the city.
How did he get past me? He couldn't access a flyer. What is that man doing? Are you certain he's gone? Would a bit of silver jog your memory? What do you say?
My investigation made it clear that he had already slipped away.
Look at that tart swinging her hips for that mercenary. I can't see how Yukong slipped past us. Did he bribe one of my agents somehow? Well, the Imperial Army has more silver than some confidence man. take my meaning.
What could he possibly offer me? He's gone, and there's no point in catching him.
Well, if you say so. Despite Lord Rento's insistence to the contrary, I doubt he was a master criminal. Perhaps I'll just declare Yukong's bounty a dead matter. Is there anything else that the Imperial Army can do for one of our fine citizens?
No, that is all, thank you. I should go.
Right you are.
Well, he's settled. Let's get out of here. Well, we are all the way up here. We still have one more thing to do over in there. So let's go back. Bit of a run. And we'll probably end up doing it in the next episode, because who knows how much time it'll take. Okay, someone apparently...
Oh dear, this won't do.
I'll come back to you after I finish handling everything in the Scholar's Garden. Whoever you are. So still need to finish up in there. Into the Scholar's Garden. Alright, is there anything else around here? Tong Wei. What? Oh, I didn't see you there. This magnificent sculpture takes all of my attention, I'm afraid. Is there something I can help you with? Who are you? My name is Tong Wei. I am a master excavator from the Valley of Sprightly Stones. I am here to oversee the installation of this fine specimen of rock. I apologize. I sometimes get excited when speaking about one of our grandest treasures. The valley is truly remarkable. What makes the stone so sprightly? No one knows exactly. There are theories, of course. Some say it is divine, and others say it is simply a trick of nature. But the debates truly don't matter. The stones are remarkable regardless of the reasons for their sprightly behavior. I count myself honored to be able to work so closely with these wonderful stones. Of course, looking upon the sculpture, it is easy to see why some believe that the divine had a hand in their making. Tell me more about the valley where these stones come from. The Valley of Sprightly Stones. It is truly a marvel, discovered many centuries ago by explorers who saw the floating stones from some way off. Eventually, people came from around the Empire to marvel at the strange occurrence. It wasn't until Emperor Yu Bao-Si that the stones were used to build. The grandest achievement is the Imperial Palace itself, which floats above the city like a grand heaven. Of course, it uses additional magic to keep it aloft. What are you doing here if you're the master excavator? Everyone deserves a few moments away from work, don't they? Think you'll be fine at the quarry without me. Besides, it's nice to see the stones on display. This sculpture of Sagacious Tian's head is like an unending well of inspiration to me. Alright, I'll be going now. Oh yes, I have much to do myself. Good fortune to you. It's always interesting to see something like that. Huh. Alright, and this appears to lead back over to there, which we will go to in the next episode, because this one's gone on about long enough. Alright, that was some interesting stuff going on there. Now we have to deal with this outsider. This is going to be interesting, methinks. But that'll be in the next episode. So, until then, I'm Chester44, that is Jin and Silk Fox. This has been a Let's Play of Jade Empire, and I shall see you all next time. Ooh, butterfly.